Alright, sorry about that. Okay. Alright, cool. Okay. Alright, so, I was talking about Monster Core stuff, so I should probably, since nobody could hear me, I'll go through that again. Yeah. Let me just switch over to, yeah, okay. Anyway, okay, so the Monster Core is basically going to be Bestiary 1, but with a good balance of other books, essentially. So, they did talk about a few monsters that are going to be in that book. So I'll go through what I have on my notes here. Is the video working okay? Alright, well, anyway. Okay. We've got audio, so... Okie dokie. Yeah, so they talked about the Archon. That one's going to be more biblical and not necessarily comforting to humanity. It's more primordial than anything. And quite a few of them are going to have all-around vision, so... Yeah. Yeah, the pick is for... I need to go to... my video... I need to go to my video settings. Huh. Well, at least the audio is working. Not much I can change right now, unfortunately. We're just going to have to deal with it, I think. That's unfortunate. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But anyway, I'm going to continue here. There's not much I can do about it. Anyway, yeah, so let's talk about hags. So I had to change hags because they had to change hags because they were pretty strongly tied to the OGL. Yeah, so they did talk about one new type of hag called the cuckoo hag, which can transform into any feminine-looking creature. So essentially, it transforms into it transforms into a female version of whatever race they're trying to attract, and then, gets the males to come and to their place and stay there, essentially. But yeah, and hags are no longer seducers; they're just kind of terrifying. And they also have spells that can transform you into a llama. Yeah. Then we've got spirits with the Rakshas, or spirits with the unholy trait. They're pretty much primordial manifestations of evil. Yeah. Since they pretty much eat people, they now have the swallow whole ability. And they also have a knowledge of divulsion ability, which means that if you try to sense motive on them, they make you off guard. Which honestly is pretty dope. Then we've got and the specific one they talked about, I forgot its name, has a turn fade ability. Essentially, if you try to use something like Halfling Luck or Black Cat Curse in front of them, they can just say no to that. Basically. Yep. It's just something to think about if you've got a halfling or a catfolk that relies on luck a lot. Then they talked about the Oni. Onis are spirits, the same as Kami, but they forgot their name. So, they've made them more physical and have less spell casting. They also have a bean panic ability, so if you're going into Oni territory, you might want to carry around a bunch of beans. And they're region-based. They're not elemental anymore. You don't have the fire Yai, you have the mountain Yai. Yeah. So, And the last one they talked about was the Naga. They don't have human faces anymore. They're just kind of... They're just kind of snakes now. They're beasts, not aberrations, too. They like to test adventurers now, and they have a mental coil attack, which means that this might be something to put up against your marshals, because it can grapple you mentally. And we all know that marshals technically have the lowest will saves, so... And they have spells and mental abilities, and they can choose to negate the damage from their poison. But if they choose to do that, then their spells affect you more. Or it's something like that. I don't remember exactly what they said. Anyway, let's move on to Starfinder. I have a few things to talk about before we get into the field tests. Hold on. Okay, sorry, just taking a drink. First of all, they talked about how the Skittermander is in the playtest. Essentially, they talked about how the Skittermander's in the playtest. Essentially, they asked people what ancestors they wanted in the field test number 3, and they didn't put Skittermander on there because it would just win. Period. So instead they chose the Android and the Vesk. And I'll get into those in a second here. But they did say that the playtest was going to be this summer. Sometime this summer. They didn't say exactly when, but sometime this summer. They also talked about the Vari and the Drift Touch, which are going to be versatile heritages. Essentially, yeah, they're going to be versatile heritages. Which, if you don't know, essentially, they're just sub races you can put on any race. They did talk about the Vari, and they said they have a too stubborn to die ability. I don't know whether that's going to be a feat or something that all Vari have, but we'll see. We'll see when the playtest comes out. We also have the Barathu ancestry that they talked about. Which can innately fly, and they can overlay themselves with another person, which I think is going to be fantastic for tanks. You know, just protect a specific person by overlaying with them. Yeah. And then they said that the early March was going to be the next field test, and it's going to be the Envoy class. It's basically a leader type class, kind of similar to the Marshal archetype in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. They also said no stamina. There's not going to be any stamina in Starfinder 2e. They also said there's going to be an ancestry with like a 5-foot base speed. I'm guessing here that they're going to have a fly speed that's much higher. But we'll see. They also said that the playtest was going to go to 20th level. And augmentations are going to be a thing. So there's that. That's pretty much all they said. Yeah, that's pretty much all they said about. So now we get into the Starfinder Field Tests. So let me just switch over here. If it'll let me. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, so we'll talk about the Android now. Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about the Android now. So, Android, Androids have 8 ancestry hit points, medium size, 25 feet. Attribute boost, dexterity, intelligence, and free with a flaw in charisma. Yeah. You get a common, a regional language of your choice, and additional languages equal to 1 plus your intelligence modifier. They also have low light vision, and they have the constructed ability, which gives them a +1 bonus on saving throws against things like diseases, poisons, and radiation. And they're emotionally unaware. They take a -1 circumstance penalty to diplomacy and performance checks, and to perception checks to sense motive. Then, of course, we have the, and of course, Android has already come out in Pathfinder 1st Edition, and a lot of this is the same, but they did add a few new feats, so that's pretty cool. So, for heritages, first up we have the ancient android, which is pretty much the android that we know from Pathfinder Second Edition. If you're an ancient android, you can choose from artisan, laborer, polyglot, or warrior. Yeah. Artisan makes you train in crafting and gives you specialty crafting. Laborer gives you training in athletics and hefty hauler. And polyglot gives you a bunch of new languages. And warrior makes you train in all simple and martial weapons. Then we've got the new ones. Artificial Scion. Which gives you training in computers and the Fraker skill feats. Which I don't know if that's in this playtest, or I don't know if that skill feat is in this playtest or in this field test or not, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah. So. Then we've got the Mod Fanatic, which gives you a armor upgrade of... you can install and upgrade armor upgrades into your upgrade slot using the install upgrade ability. And you get one common armor upgrade with an item level of 1 or less. You begin with this armor upgrade installed in the upgrade slots. And you don't need to pay credits for it. So that's pretty cool. Again, we'll have to see how the... hold on. Let me see if I can get the... let me see if I can get the camera to work again. Yeah, give me a second. Okay, there we go. We're back. Alright, okay, we are back. Alright, so with the networked background, or with the network heritage, you gain shortwave, allowing you to communicate wirelessly with any creatures within 30 feet, as long as they have the shortwave or a construct with the technological trait. This doesn't give you special access to their thoughts or programming, and communicates no more information than normal speech would. You can attempt computers checks to hack systems and thievery checks to disable device or pick a lock on technological devices at a range of 30 feet. Which honestly is pretty awesome. Yeah, I like that one a lot too. With the renewed Android, you become trained in a skill of your choice that has the recall knowledge action, and you gain the dubious knowledge skill feat. Oh, I love recall knowledge. That's my favorite heritage right there. You just become trained in a skill that has the recall knowledge action, and you gain dubious knowledge. That's wow. Yeah, that is great. That's my favorite one now. Yeah. All right, we have Android lore, which is training in crafting and thievery, and Android lore. Yeah. So, that's your standard lore feat. Pretty basic. Then we've got cleansing subroutine, which is pretty much the same as normal. If you roll a fortitude save against poison, you reduce its stage by 2 on a success or 1 against a virulence. And each critical success reduces it by 3 or 2 against a virulence. Yeah, pretty... That's one we know from Pathfinder 1st edition. Or 2nd edition, sorry. Alright, emotionless. You gain a +1 circumstance bonus on saves against emotion and fear effects. If you roll a success, you get a critical success instead. Again, another feat that is basically the same as the android from Pathfinder 2nd edition. Internal compartments. Yeah, this is the thing where you can hide something in your arm in a compartment. Yeah, that's pretty much the same. Then we've got memory recovery. You retain instincts and fragmentary memories from other androids. This is essentially what's the elf feat? I don't remember the name of the elf feat, but it's essentially you get trained in one skill of your choice, and that lasts until the next day, basically. It's pretty basic. Nanite Surge, again, this is another feat we've had before. Yeah. If you use an action that has the skill... If you use a skill action that has 3... if you use a skill check that takes 3 actions or fewer, you can get a +2 on the triggering check. And if you... As a reaction. And if you use this, you dim... You glow, lighting a 10-foot emanation for 1 round. Night vision adaptation just gives you dark vision. Quickened processor. +1 to perception checks for initiative, as well as a +2 to piloting checks for initiative. Okay, that one's a new one. And we've got radiant circuitry, which okay. Looks like it got disconnected there for a second. Okay. Your ocular processor, yeah, this is one we've had before. It used to be True Strike, now it's Sure Strike as a first rank arcane innate spell. Sure Strike is just the new name for True Strike, so, just that. Machine Saboteur, when you roll a critical hit against a creature with a tech trait, it becomes glitching 1, which is a pretty good, Okay, sorry guys, it keeps... I'm not sure why, but it keeps on, maybe it's because of stuff I added today. Yeah, but anyway, I'm gonna try to finish Android, and then maybe I'll do a video on, the Vesk. Yeah, protective subroutine. Use your nanites to get a +2 on a saving throw. Pretty basic. Alright. Internal respirator. Yeah, this is essentially you have oxygen inside you that you can use to breathe for an hour. So you can hold your breath for longer, but then after that you have to spend 10 minutes exposed to breathable air in order to refill it. Offensive subroutine, use your nanites to get a +1 status bonus on an attack roll. And repair module. You trigger your body's self-repair programming, stimulating your fast healing equal to half your level for 1 minute. And while repair module is active, you can't use other feats that require the use of your nanites. Yeah. So essentially, yeah. You can heal yourself, but yeah. Moving on, we have consistent surge. Nanite surge with a frequency of once per 10 minutes instead of once per hour. Revivification protocol. Again, this is basically one we've had before. If you have the dying condition and are about to make a recovery check, you can spend a free action once per day to just go to 1 hit point and lose the dying and unconscious conditions, and you can act normally. But you do still gain or increase the wounded condition when you lose the dying condition in this way. And synthetic speech, you can cast Speak with Computers as a 5th rank arcane spell once per day. Pretty basic. And then we've got 17th level feats, which we didn't have before. So these are brand new. Memory Matrix. Whenever you critically fail a will save against a spell or effect that would give you the confused or controlled condition, you count it as a failure instead. If you would start your turn confused or controlled, you can immediately attempt a DC 5 flat check. On a success, you fight that mental control, becoming paralyzed until the end of your turn rather than acting against your will. If you roll a natural 20 on this flat, if you roll a natural 20, you immediately end the condition. Yay. Pretty situational, but hey, Anyway, we got nanite form. Basically, for 2 actions, you become huge, gain the swarm trait, and gain a fly speed of 40 feet. As a swarm, you have the following characteristics. You're immune to the grappled, prone, and restrained conditions. You have weakness 5 to area and splash damage. You can occupy the same space as other creatures and must do so to use your damaging activity. As a 2-action activity, you can deal 10d6 acid damage to creatures sharing your space. Basic reflex save with a DC equal to your class or spell DC, whichever is higher. You can't speak, cast spells, use manipulate actions requiring your hands, activate items, or make any strikes with your normal body. You don't gain the Swarm Mind ability, so you're still affected normally by mental effects. So basically, you turn into a huge swarm, and you can deal a bunch of damage to and you stay in that form for 1 minute or until you spend a single action to return to your normal shape. Yeah. Anyway. Alright. I think I'm going to end the stream there. Because I think we've got some problems here. I'm going to do a video on the Vesk a bit later. So, don't forget to check out Dubby in the description below. Great energy, great focus. I use it all the time. I use Dragonade, which is strawberry lemonade. But hey, you know. Overall, just, yeah, if you're interested, link is in the description below. Use code TEAMGAMING for 10% off a starter pack. And that's going to do it for this stream. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, teamwork is vital.